love these trees, probably for Grandma's funeral. I really haven't been here for ages. Well, I never came here when, like, we came with Dad and Mom. It's beautiful.
Even open this thing.
I don't know.
So ancient, and you lift it,
And you push.
and you leave it open.
Hey everybody! It is another absolutely gorgeous fall day in upstate New York, and I am here today in the Fox Hill community, which is about 45 minutes south of where I live at the Mount community. Anyway, this is Fox Hill, and it's where my sister Jenn lives. Jenn is standing here. Jenn is going to come say hi.
Hey.
And so she and I were just hanging out this afternoon, and Jenn, will you just make sure my batteries don't run out because I forgot to charge my camera? Anyway, so I'm standing here in front of these gates lead into the burial ground here at Fox Hill, and my grandparents, my mother's parents, Carol and Doris King, are buried here. Now this is a really special place for our family because my grandparents were and still are very meaningful people in me and my parents and my siblings' lives. And we come here to, you know, reconnect with their heritage, which is our heritage, but reconnect with their examples and what they taught us and showed us through their lives. But it's not only just them. I'm not even sure how many other people are buried here, but this place is meaningful to our whole communities. And this kind of goes back to years ago when our communities first started in Germany. And our founder, Eberhard Arnold, the people who were buried in the burial grounds were so important to him and to our communities that every year, at the end of the year, when he held what we call the New Year's Eve meeting, which is a meeting where we kind of remember what happened in the past year and look forward to the new year, and people say wishes. Anyway, but before all that happened, he would always read through the household list, which was basically a list of every single adult, teenager, child. So the first entry that he would read was, and I'm not going to try to attempt the German here, but the people who are in the burial ground are the people who are already in the kingdom of God. And he would read the people who had already passed away. And to me, I found, when I first heard about this, I found it quite meaningful because it kind of shows that the veil between what's temporal and earthly here and the eternal is really thin. Like, we don't know what happens to us after we die, and like Jesus even kind of warns us to not speculate about the afterlife. But one thing that we are assured of is that there is bodily life after resurrection, and it says it in the Bible, it says it in the New Testament, and there is proof in Jesus, who rose from the dead, as we know. And so, of course, that's also why our burial grounds are so special to us, is that because we know, we believe in the life after, and that there will be resurrection. And as it says in Revelation also, like, there will be no more mourning or crying or pain. And that's kind of something that I hold on to as I remember the friends who I've lost, or my grandparents, or in our family, especially like my brother who has passed away. And so for me, coming to the burial ground here lessens the divide between what is here, what's all around me now, this beautiful day, and what comes after death. And it somehow makes it easier to bear. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's one thing that I would want to share with you. And if you have lost or are mourning, I hope that these thoughts are an encouragement to you. So for my siblings and me, we find ourselves kind of on the younger end of the large King clan, I guess you could call it. My mom was the youngest, and she was born when my grandmother was, I'm worried I'm going to get this wrong, so I don't really want to say it, but I think my grandmother was like 42 or 45, somewhere in that range, early 40s. So my siblings and I didn't really know our grandparents that well. So again, coming here kind of also brings us closer to them And as I keep learning more and more stories about their lives, I love it, and I want to like bring those stories to my children. So that's also what coming to a place here, especially like with my mom, and she tells me more things, stuff that I've never heard before. Like my grandmother was born in China and to missionary parents, and she lived there till she was 16, and then her mother died of cancer, and then her father remarried, and like all these things like made her who she was. And then through her search with my grandfather and through her conversion and finding Christ, they found this community which we now get to be a part of. And all that history coming together sort of, I don't know if you want to say like kind of culminates in a place like this, but it kind of like brings history alive and brings their memory and their joy in life alive. So I guess as with a lot of things, like in Christianity, a lot of stuff is paradoxical. Like in a place where there's death, because like death is part of life, right? We all are going to die, our bodies are going to decompose, but then we come to a place and it brings life, and it brings life into our hearts to remember their lives. Anyway. You can do this real close.